I just won 100 pounds of fast food toys at auction. Let's check these out and see what memories we got going on in here. I am not shy in sharing my love for McDonald's and fast food toys. Hell, McDonald's even knows and sent me a McNugget Buddy sweatshirt. And one of my missions with this YouTube channel is to show off some of the best fast food toy sets, because they were such a big part of being a kid in the 90s and early 2000s. And on this mission, I ended up with these 3 giant boxes full of fast food toys, about 100 pounds worth. And if you're thinking, damn, that's a lot of toys, well, yeah, you're right. So how did I end up with these? See, I'm a part of a lot of McDonald's collector groups on Facebook, which if you are into McDonald's as much as I am, I would highly recommend joining one. And a member posted some auction links from a liquidation center in Arizona. Had lots and lots of retro toys and collectibles, which were actually from a retro toy store in Arizona that had just shut down. And I did reach out to the auctioneer to see if he could get me some more info on the place, but unfortunately I never heard back. But I was in awe of the amount of solely fast food toys for sale, and that's all that was in this auction in particular. And since it's a small liquidation center, the prices on these things were crazy inexpensive, though I will circle back to that part in a second. But if you aren't familiar with the current day prices of McDonald's toys, which you might think are like a few bucks a pop, well, that really isn't always the case. I mean, sure, you can get some cheap ones, but it depends on the line of toys and obviously the condition of the item. But like if it's a popular line and the toy is unopened, they can go for like 10 bucks a pop sometimes, maybe even more. So seeing some lots where you can end up with an entire box of these toys for $2 is an insane deal. Though needless to say, I might have gone a little bit overboard. If it isn't obvious, I seriously had no idea the amount of toys I was going to end up with. Because I don't know, online it doesn't really look like much. But I ended up with 20 lots of fast food memorabilia, ranging from Burger King crowns to McDonald's glasses, and of course, tons and tons of opened and unopened fast food toys, and paid about just around $200 for everything. So please subscribe and like the video, because this might be my biggest video yet. Before we get into these, I'm going to spend some time organizing them all so we can group any sets together, get rid of duplicates, and make sure we get rid of the gross looking ones, which these are all still were pretty dusty from being so old, but definitely shout out any toys you see that you remember in the comments. Now you might also be thinking, what on earth is he going to do with all of these toys? Well, obviously I'll be making shorts on most of the items you see in this video, but I also will be selling a lot of them on my Whatnot. Now Whatnot is not sponsoring this video, but if you aren't familiar with Whatnot is, it's a seller marketplace similar to eBay, but it also has this live streaming feature where you can bid on items in a live show and end up with some pretty killer deals. Now, I obviously am just starting out my Whatnot, but I am slowly building up that inventory, and my marketplace is live now, with my first live show being March 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. So use the link in the description to sign up for Whatnot and get up to $200 in credit towards your first live show purchase. And again, my first live show will be on March 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. Now let's see what we got in these boxes. All right, so it is the next day, and I did spend a good amount of time organizing everything, kind of, I think, and then did some research on everything, so we kind of know what we're walking into here. Now, we won't go through every single toy in this video, but we'll cover a good amount of them. And I can't guarantee that all these will be sold on my Whatnot, but if I see a lot of chatter in the comments, then I'll definitely throw it up there. But let's get this thing going and look at some of the oldest toys that we have. And thank you to my beautiful wife off screen for helping keep things moving. So here we have some of the oldest toys that were included in this lot. The oldest being this little mermaid toy that was released in 1989. While I have a soft spot for the clear plastic packaging that was around in the 90s, it's always really cool to see that vintage style packaging. And let's get her out of here. Alright, so here we have Ursula. I mean, I will say that there were some better McDonald's toys in the 80s, but this is nice. Got a little suction cup on the back so you can use it in the bathtub. And then moving on, we also have some Garfield toys. And let's check this one out. Ooh, this is a nice little figure. And then we also have some Snow White toys from 1992, though this line often gets overshadowed by the toy line that was released in 2002, which was pretty iconic. And then we actually have some Batman toys, some from Batman the Animated Series and one from Batman Returns. I feel like I've never really seen the Batman Animated Series packaging, so probably didn't even know that these existed. But of course we gotta open up the classic Batman. Oh no, his cape fell off with that cape back on. That is actually a pretty sick looking Batman figure. And then we'll open up this Batman Returns, which says we have the Catwoman cat coop. as she moves, her little tail wiggles in the back. This is the iconic Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, but it doesn't really look like her. Come on, McDonald's, let's get a little bit more realistic here. These next toys seem pretty relevant given the new live-action Netflix adaptation, but let's take a little walk down memory lane with its first live-action adaptation. Of course, I am talking about The Last Airbender, the movie we all wish we could forget. But here I have 4 different The Last Airbender toys, a couple opened appas, which were supposed to have a little Momo pop out. Though if we want to experience that little launcher effect, in here we actually have a Komodo Rhino launcher. You know, the little dragon lizard type things that the Fire Nation would ride all the time? And it launches fireballs, so let's check that out. And in here we also have like a little collector card too. This one is about Zuko. Then here are fireballs and the, what is it? The Komodo Rhino. Here's the Komodo Rhino. Okay, a little anticlimactic. And then we have this water cannon, which I'll demonstrate in a separate clip. And lastly, dubbing the girls rotation, is a fan that has Katara on it. Next. Oh my gosh, my siblings were obsessed with Anastasia when I was younger, and kind of still are. And we have some pretty exciting toys here. Oh, I gotta focus on this guy, Puka. I definitely had one of these when I was younger. He was a part of the premium toy line at Burger King in 1997, though was available to purchase separately from your kids' meal. But you're supposed to be able to squeeze him and his ears pop up, so let's see if that still works. Hey, oh! And then we actually do have a couple of toys from the actual kids' meal, though I kind of wish we had that decapitated Rasputin toy that they sold. And I do have to point out that inside this packaging, it kind of looks like Puka. It kind of looks like Puka is pumping her leg a little bit. Yikes. Did you ever watch Animaniacs? Well, I did too, and we actually have 2 different Animaniacs toys from McDonald's. And this first one is from 1993, and all the toys in this line were some sort of cart vehicle. And here we have Mindy and Button's Wild Ride. Let's check it out. I kind of think I already know what's gonna happen with this one. Yeah, Mindy goes up and down. That's a good one. And then this next one is from 1995, and all of these were those little pull toys. I'll show you. Like this one is this little rocket, and then you would just pull this, and it looks like the rocket's blasting off. What a funny little toy. Let's keep this going. So before we get too deep into the toys, I did want to take a second to look at all the paper goods that we got in this lot. Like these Burger King crowns, for example. We have some from, like I just showed, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Toy Story, Pocahontas. And I actually didn't know that they were printed like this with the perforations going into each other like that. Kind of cool. But you know we gotta put one of these on. Let's go with Toy Story right here. Yeah, that's nice. What do you think? Oh yeah. All right, and then we will move on to some of this like miscellaneous paper goods that we got. So in here, it looks like we have some Toy Story collector cards. We also have some Power Rangers collector cards, which looks like they build an image. Let's see if we can build the whole thing. No, it looks like we are missing a couple. Obviously, it probably would have shown the whole line of Power Rangers. This is actually cool. I actually do have this toy already, but this is like the little insert that came inside of it, and this is an old toy. I want to say it was from like 83 or something like that. And then just some activities, as well as another little collector card here, and it kind of looks like this came in a pack of oatmeal. And then lastly, from the miscellaneous paper goods section, we have tons of kids' meal bags. So before we get into those, there are also some other things here. Like we actually have used bags from that iconic Burger King Pokemon line in 1999, as well as a box that was used to sell those golden Pokemon cards. But then moving right along to the bags. So here we have a couple bags from Long John Silver's, which isn't exactly the first restaurant that comes to mind when I think of fast food toys. But here is a Peanuts one from 1996 and a Disney Channel one from, doesn't say. My notes here say 97. And and this promotes some of the classic Disney cartoons. And then we have this reusable bag from Subway promoting the movie Frankenweenie, and some Wendy's bags promoting the 50th anniversary of Peanuts. Then the last thing we have from this section is actually a pretty big throwback. Do you remember when Burger King used to have like a kids magazine? It was called Burger King Adventures and had a few stories and puzzles to promote whatever the toy was at the time. And here we have volume 16, issue 5, that has the Star Wars Super D collection booklet. Really cool. I mean, I remember these toys, and maybe we'll look at some in a little bit. But it's also got this little Star Wars quiz, teaches you how to make your own lightsaber, and even teaches you how to use it. I'm kinda tempted to find more of these. I like totally forgot that they existed. Next we have, one of the most underrated Pixar films, toys from A Bug's Life. These are mostly all wind-up toys, so for some reason, this one doesn't really want to work. But this is also kind of cool. This is a watch that McDonald's used to sell, and I mean, we gotta open it up. I gotta see what's in here. Whoa, it's not a watch. What is this? Oh, it is a watch. It's in the shape of a magnifying glass for some reason. I guess so you could look at the answer. Yeah, we get it. But yeah, I mean, obviously it doesn't work now. Maybe if we put some new batteries in it, we could get it to work. But this is a really fun find. I've definitely never seen this before. Now, my wife is very excited for this next one. Not in package, but this is a Madame Alexander doll, the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz, to be specific. And to be honest, this line is kind of everything. Though I was actually shocked to see that this line came out in 2008. It very much so seems like it would have been released in like the 90s, or maybe even like the 80s with just like the style of it. But she is so cool. What was your favorite book series as a child? Harry Potter, A Series of Unfortunate Events? Well, for me, it was The Spiderwick Chronicles. And in 2008, they released the live-action movie along with a set from McDonald's. And here we have Thimbletack. I remember specifically in the movie seeing Thimbletack for the first time and thinking he was very creepy. Because in the book, he's actually really cute. I do wish I could show it off a little bit more. It doesn't really work now. But the salt shaker is supposed to have a little light that is then supposed to shine through one of the seeing stones from the movie, which would show you a goblin or a boggart. Is that even me? Hey, you'd have to watch the movie. He's definitely in some aged shape here, but I love the Spiderwick Chronicles, so I might try to hunt these down myself. And they're coming out with a new show too, so maybe we'll see some more of these from McDonald's. Now, these next ones are such classics. I am, of course, talking about the 101 toys that McDonald's released for the movie 101 Dalmatians. Like, McDonald's did not need to go that hard. Like, they could have easily released like 10 toys and we wouldn't have really batted an eye. We'll actually go more into this particular set in the future, so these will actually be staying in package for now. And up next, we have the Power Rangers rival, Beetleborgs. Okay, not really their rival, but a similar idea. But these toys were released in '97 for Beetleborgs Metallics, but this toy is actually the same one that we have in the package, which is the Platinum Purple Beetleborg Covert Compact, whatever that means. And inside is just the classic 90s holographic with some of the Beetleborgs characters. And while Beetleborgs is great, let's move on to look at some of the bigger Power Ranger sets. So we've actually done a video on this set before. These are some of the premium Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie sets that you could buy separately from your Happy Meal. So we won't be checking out this set today, but definitely go check out that video if you're interested. But moving on, these ones are just labeled Power Rangers, which is actually the only set to have different Power Rangers from different generations. So it had the Red Ranger from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the Red and Black Rangers from Dino Thunder, and the Blue Ranger from SPD. And then here we have the Green Ranger on his vehicle from Mystic Force. This must have been a big push to get people to watch Toon Disney and Jetix, though I never really watched Mystic Force, but it's a cool little vehicle, minus the discoloration. And then we have some toys from Lightspeed Rescue, and this is what I'm talking about when it comes to Power Rangers toys. This one had two sets. One was a figure that had a Zord case that would then combine to become a Megazord, which I think is what we were missing from the Mighty Morphin line. And then the second toy line was just their vehicles. Now I'll open one of these up just to show you, but it's actually the same number, so unfortunately we can't actually build the Megazord. But here's the little Zord case, and then inside we have the Lightspeed Rescue Blue Ranger. And now moving on to some of the Power Rangers shows that I did not watch. Starting it off with these toys from Power Rangers Samurai. Here we have the Gold Ranger Disc Launcher. I think we should open this one up and try it. Here we go. And then moving on to Power Rangers Super Samurai, which I guess for a while they just added Super to the name of the next series. And here we have the Red Ranger and the Bullzooka Blast toy, which I gotta see what that is. Oh, sick! It is its own little blaster. Pew pew! And finally, even though I did not watch this series, I'm kinda hyped for this toy line. These are from Power Rangers Megaforce, and the reason that I am so excited is that you can actually build these to make a Megazord, which that is all I really want from a Power Rangers toy anyway. Now, we definitely don't have all of them, but let's see if these two actually fit together. This is the Snake Mechazord, which I guess is also a little blaster. And this is the Lion Mechazord, which his little feet move when you move them around. But yeah, these guys don't fit together, unfortunately. But it only means that I will have to find the other toys in this set and build it myself. All right, where are my Bratz fans at? Okay, and now where are my Diva Star fans at? Even if you didn't have a Diva Star, you might remember these big-eyed interactive dolls. And they also made their way to a fast food line too, though this toy has seen some better days, as it was released in 2001. And this one is basically just a mirror when you flip her hair back. Though I guess a lot of them were keychains, some came with separate shoes. I also saw one was a comb. You know, you'd think that these toys would be documented pretty well, but I've been doing some digging to try and find all the information I can on everything. So really, I'm just doing a service for the fast food toy community. Do you recognize this chimp? I feel like I saw this logo everywhere when I was growing up. Super iconic. And when I saw this in that pile of toys, I was like super thrown off, and even more thrown off when I saw that this was released in 2014. Now, this is just a little bobblehead, but it's funny that this guy has really withstood the test of time. So we said earlier that we were going to look at some Star Wars toys, and it is time. One released in 2005 and one released in 2008, but let's start out with these ones, which were released to promote Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. There were actually 31 different toys in this toy line, which is just crazy. From being a little plushie, to a wind-up toy, to a water squirter. And here we only have a couple. We have C-3PO and Darth Maul, which give me some Darth Maul battle sequences any day. And then for these toys, these were all bobbleheads used to promote Star Wars The Clone Wars. And we actually have some pretty good ones here. We have Yoda, which I'm a big Yoda and Grogu guy. We have an Ewok, and probably my favorite Star Wars character, we also have Ahsoka. And goddamn, this one also had 18 figures, and I think I need them all, so let's just add that to the list of toy sets that I need to complete. Now, we mentioned it earlier, but Burger King had some iconic Pokemon toys in their meals, and while we don't really have what was in those open bags we saw earlier, we do have a few of those interactive Pokemon cards that were released to promote Pokemon the Movie 2000. They again all had different functions, like Squirtle was a little water squirter, Porygon is supposed to glow in the dark, and then Venonat and Marowak just kind of move slightly. And I know I keep saying it, and it's probably the nostalgia talking, but goddamn, I think I also gotta collect all these too. Do you remember when Frankie Muniz was in like everything when we were younger? And now he's a race car driver? Really living that Miracle in Lane 2 to the max right there. But in a different universe, Frankie Muniz was Agent Cody Banks. And here we have this funny educational switchblade. I can really imagine Agent Cody Banks taking down some guys with this thing. Now, why is it that in 2000 we had this movie, which was like amazing, then only to have this movie years and years later? Anyway, we do have some fun toys from that original dinosaur movie. This line had 8 toys, and half of them were these silly little hand puppets. This guy is super epic. Uh-oh.
Hey, buddy.
We all remember these guys, and they're also making a comeback right now. And here we have the classic Burger King versus McDonald's battle, having the 1999 line from Burger King and the 2000 line from McDonald's. And honestly, before even opening any of these up, I think I'm leaning towards Burger King, but each set is actually very similar. Let's start out with Burger King, and these guys are keychains, but also little finger puppets. And obviously another reason why I lean towards this one is that they're a bit bigger, because let's check out the McDonald's ones. And these ones are these little finger huggers? I don't really know what this is called, but I definitely had this little Poe when I was younger, though the real question is, will these be making a resurgence with the reboot? Moving on to some Lion King toys. We have a bunch of sets here, but let's actually start out with this one in the middle, which was one of the original Lion King sets sold by Burger King in 1994. And I actually have the entire set right here. Kind of looks like maybe they had it on display or they were trying to sell the whole set as a whole, but I think we should get these puppies out of here. Or cats. And these are some pretty solid figures. It looks like most of them are just figurines, but then Timon and Pumbaa over here are a little cart. Yeah, and it's just a little simple figure. I feel like figures back then just looked a lot better than they do now, but maybe your eye's a little messed up now that I say that. And now we'll move on to more toys from Burger King, though these were used to promote The Lion King when it released on VHS. So I remember these ones really well. They were like these little square Jack-in-the-Box type finger puppets. Super fun and pretty unique, honestly. Though we still have a couple more Lion King sets to look at, and we'll look at these ones next. Though these ones were actually used to promote the show Timon and Pumbaa, which I honestly didn't even know that these existed, but they are also from Burger King and came out in 1996. Here we just have the classic Timon and Pumbaa and just a regular Timon. Let's check out this Pumbaa one though. So here he has a little plate of grubs or a little leaf of grubs, and you pull it out. I'm assuming that he's supposed to like come in and eat it and roll with it because he has little wheels on the bottom. But when I do that here, he just rolls backwards and it doesn't move at all. Probably needs to be greased up on his wheels a little bit. And then lastly, we have these McDonald's toys from Lion King 2. These were released in 1998 and are all plushies. I remember these ones really well, actually. Lion King 2 was pretty solid. And I mean, overall, I'm just like a really big fan of fast food plushies. I just feel like there's the cheapness about them that just makes them so unique. Woo! Woo! Okay, these two aren't really anything special, but I was just really curious because these are the only fast food toys I found where the main language on them isn't English. We have one SpongeBob toy, or should I say Bob Esponja, and one from La Cenicienta, which is just Cinderella in Spanish. I just thought these were really cool. We'll move on to the next. This next one I am super excited for because I actually went out of my way to try and get these, which of course are some Peanuts glasses sold at McDonald's. And if you don't know, McDonald's used to sell collectibles like glasses and I think some like ornaments and other stuff too. Though these were obviously not in your Happy Meal. But here we have 5 of the 6 glasses that were released, which was way back in 1983. I seriously cannot believe how good a condition these are in. Of course, with looking at fast food toys, we have to take a look at the man himself, though we only ended up with a couple here, which I'm kind of surprised by. This one is a little beanie that was released in 2002 for World Children's Day, and it actually has these little slots in the back so you can use them as a little finger puppet. And then this one was actually released in 2007 in their Baby Ronald line, which I didn't know existed, and honestly couldn't really find too much information about this one. Though I think it was one of their under 3 offerings. I definitely need more Ronald in my life. Another big haul, we ended up with tons of Hercules toys. We had 2 sets here, one from 97 and one from 98, and I'm assuming the 98 version was used to promote the VHS release. But these movie ones are sick. Remember back in the day when McDonald's toys were just so elaborate that they needed to perforate it? But there were 10 toys in this line that each had a character from the movie and another larger figure. Gotta go with Baby Pegasus. Oh my god, Baby Pegasus, so freaking cute. And then here's the other figure right here, which I could not tell you who this is. It actually opens up and I think should just fit right in there, and you can store your little figure. And then the other set is actually a lot more interesting because the toys are more toy-like. Like here we have Zeus that kind of looks like a football, as well as like a little medallion that I guess you would give to the winner of your Zeus football match. So this next section I find to be pretty hilarious, and I'm actually gonna do a voiceover for this whole bit.
Now in this search I found fast food toys from restaurants that just gave it a go at some point. I mean, honestly, they still could be selling toys, I don't know. But when I saw all of these, I either didn't know they sold toys or just completely forgot they did. Like Arby's, Quiznos, Subway, Whataburger, KFC, Taco Bell, Del Taco, Jack in the Box, Sonic, Chick-fil-A, and Wendy's. And I mean, some of these are cool, but others not so much. Like this Arby's 60-second encyclopedia and this Quiznos Sudoku. Though like I said, some were kind of cool. Like here we have some from Subway, a Little Bill toy, which I've said this in the past, I don't know if he's canceled or not, and some Looney Tunes and Blue's Clues. Pretty decent from a sub shop. Quiznos, you should take note. Oh, that's awkward. Whataburger is kind of a mixed bag. We have one of those splash balls though as a little bug, a little train called the Whataville Express, and they even gave you a board game? Okay, Whataburger. Whataburger. KFC, I remember having some good ones, and here we have a Ghostbusters keychain, which was pretty grimy because the bag was kind of open. Taco Bell is a weird one. Like, here we have a glider from the show The Tick, a Discover Dinosaurs sticker set, a Goosebumps board game, which I actually thought was a book at first, and Alien games. I was actually really curious about this one because I don't really remember it, and I couldn't find any info online. It came with this creepy alien that kind of acted like a putter, and you hit this ball into the cardboard holes it came with, though those were bent out of shape a tad. Here's Del Taco with their Adventure Safari collection, a Jack-in-the-Box ornament. Now, Sonic actually had a ton. Fun fact, I've never actually been to a Sonic, so I didn't even really know that they had toys, and because I also just found this out, I love that their kids meal was called the Wacky Pack. But here we got a wacky composition notebook, which you use these stickers it came with to form wacky phrases. I'm a new fan of these farm tot buddies and these wacky danglers. And they also ripped off Tech Deck dudes with these Sonic skaters, gave a real flashlight with their camping set, and one of those paper building toys, which here I built a wonderful Shamu. Chick-fil-A I was kind of shocked by, and not really because their toys were good, but they all had some sort of educational aspect. Like, they gave you a book, this one's such a classic, an Egyptian craft booklet with a scarab toy, a game to quiz you on your astronaut knowledge, and don't forget Larry from VeggieTales. Wendy's toys were actually pretty good. Like, oh my god, we got a Jackie Chan Adventures toy, which is like this little ball game, and Looney Tunes Back in Action, which is another little puzzle game, Arthur, Jimmy Neutron, Muppets in Space, E.T., and a couple I just found to be funny were these two from the Wildlife toy line. I couldn't really find how many of these there were, but the clownfish ended up being a little coin purse, and the frog ended up being a magnet.
And while you just saw all those Wendy's toys, I wanted to feature this next one by itself. It's one of the Wendy's fur skin bears from 1986. Now, this is the holiday one, but there are also 3 others. And I actually used to have this exact one when I was younger. And when I grabbed this out of that box, the memories just like flooded back. Oh my gosh, who remembers Neopets? And who remembers these toys specifically? McDonald's partnered with Neopets to make these little plushies, and while there were 16 different ones, there were also various different colorways for each, so who knows really what the final number actually was. But here we have the green Blue-Maru and the blue Kugra. Love these guys. Next up, I wanted to look at some Nickelodeon toys, which I'm not sure I knew that there was a line that was just generally Nickelodeon, but 2 of these are from Burger King, one of which is promoting the Kids' Choice Awards from 1999 and is an actual blimp. So I guess you could say I have won a Kids' Choice Award. And this other one is actually promoting the Nickelodeon time block Nickelodeon, which was in 1998. And the toys from this line were absolutely killer. There were Action League Now figures from Kablam, a Cousin Skeeter plush, the Wild Thornberrys RV, and Arnold's football head. And it looks like we had the little RV right here, which again is just the RV from the Wild Thornberrys and this rhino that goes like this. And then talk about a throwback. Not really sure what this was meant for long term. Maybe a bookmark, but this is a little promotional card for the Nickelodeon that was given out at Blockbuster. And then lastly is this Nickelodeon toy from McDonald's in 1992. This line was known as Game Gadgets, and this one in particular is the Applause Pause. It's just a little clapper. Pops up saying applause every time. And let's stay on the subject of Nickelodeon for a little while. Do you remember the show El Tigre? I feel like it was really short-lived, but it solidified itself in fast food toy history with having its own line at McDonald's in 2008. Now here we have a couple of White Pantera, does a little twist and punch. And then we also have Grandpappy, which this one spins around and then has a little bird pop up like this. And then next we have toys from Tak and the Power of Juju, which I actually already covered, so go watch that short. Next, and continuing with obscure Nickelodeon shows with these toys from Cat Scratch, which for a show that I feel like a lot of people forgot about, they did a pretty good job on this toy line with 8 toys and actually 3 of those toys having 3 other variants. And here we have Mr. Blick, which might be one of my favorite toys that we've looked at so far because look at what he does. Hilarious. And we also have Dancin' Waffle, also a little wind-up toy, though we haven't really had much luck with the wind-up toys. Let's see if he works. Maybe? No? He kind of works. He's just giving a little shimmy back and forth there. These next sets I'm actually really excited for. I mean, first off, they're both Rugrats related, but one is actually buildable when you collect them all. Though, spoiler alert, I don't think we have them all, but let's get into it. This first set is from the Rugrats movie. These were released in 1998. Chelsea, give me a Rugrats character.
Chucky.
All right, here we got Chucky on a little Reptar mobile. Oh, is this actually, oh my god, it is. This can actually go in water and move around too. It has little paddles on the bottom. But other than that, right now, he just kind of moves around like this. And then let's check out one more. Give me another character.
Is Bill there?
Bill is here. Oh, it's also a wind-up. All right. Okay, enough of that one. And now moving on to that Collectibles set that I mentioned. This was made to promote the Rugrats in Paris in 2000, and each toy is actually a different attraction at Reptar Land, and then they can actually attach to make your own mini Reptar Land. Let's open up one of these Tommy and Reptar here. So when you get Tommy on here, oh yeah. These wind-up toys really hit or miss these days. But definitely really cool, and I'll definitely have to look into seeing if I can complete the Reptar Land set. So aside from like a lot of Minion toys that I ended up with, I also ended up with an obscene amount of SpongeBob toys. But I did grab some ones to look at here, which maybe we'll look at this SpongeBob karate toy from McDonald's. Okay, let's look at one more. Oh, let's open up Gary for sure. It looks like this is another one of those like moving ones. His eyes will move around. Pretty cute. And then last from our Nickelodeon kick, I had to shout out this singular iCarly toy, which again, I don't think I was ever aware that this line even existed, but here we have one of the iconic gummy bears from the show, which it actually looks like it opens up. It's like notepads and a pencil. All right, iCarly, I see you, but check that out. Check that out. I was so excited when I saw these Spy Kids 3D toys from Burger King. The arms are like a little discolored, but looking pretty sick. We have our second booklet here. I think I got this wrong. It says that these are actually from McDonald's. But yeah, in here you have this little figure, and then you also are given this little like booklet along with some 3D glasses. Actually, is this booklet a comic? It is a comic, all right. So you have like a 3D comic that you can read with your 3D glasses. I just thought this integration was really well thought out. I mean, having a whole movie dedicated to just 3D, I feel like this kind of makes sense. Ooh. Next up, we have some classics. Man, I gotta stop saying that. But I feel like everyone seriously had one of these. These Winnie the Pooh plush keychains. These were made in 1999 to promote Winnie the Pooh Sing a Song with Pooh Bear, which maybe I've seen it, maybe I haven't, I'm not really sure. But honestly, if McDonald's toys were just all like this, I think I'd be a happy guy. These next ones were incredibly memorable. I felt like I always found one at like a flea market growing up. This is the Disney Video Favorites line, which I actually thought there were way more than there actually are, but there's only 6. But here opened we have Flubber, which might be one of my favorite ones that they made. And when it moves around on the surface, he spins around like that. And then they have these little hooks on the back, so if you get multiple of them, you can make them into a little train. This next one is just hilarious. I honestly can't believe how many of these toys I didn't even know existed. Like American Idol toys. What? And this toy really shows its age because it's this little MP3 player in the style of an iPod Classic. Will it work? So it's like a little compressed version of the American Idol theme song. I don't really know what I was expecting to come out of that speaker, to be honest with you. Oh, I am so excited for this one, because I don't think I ever had the real version or the toy version of this. Do you remember Robo Chi Pets? They were like these interactive robotic pets, and of course did align with McDonald's in 2001. And I think this is going to be the cat one, because on the outside it says Meow Chi, but only one way to find out. Yes, let's go. Look, oh, he's sick. Got a little fish. Uh-oh, guys. We got another wind up here. Will we do anything? Nope. But I am definitely keeping this one. Now this short has done really well for me, and now you guys could have one too. Again, if you follow me on Whatnot. I am of course talking about the McDonald's Tamagotchi toys. These were simply just keychains, so I really thought when I was younger that I was going to end up with a real Tamagotchi. But like I said, I also already did a short on these, so go check that out. And finally, y'all, Furby! The Furby line at McDonald's was, okay, say it with me now, iconic. The line premiered in '99, but they did several different waves in the following years. And I believe these two were from the first wave, which were those hard plastic ones that had different actions. Let's definitely open one of these up. So we have this like cheetah print one, and his eyes are crazy. But when you move his feet up and down, his mouth moves, his ears move, and his eyes move. And we will leave this one as a mystery for you all. And then these are from the next wave, which I think came out in the following year in 2002, which were these little plush keychains that again, I feel like everyone had on their backpack growing up. They still have the little plastic face, but the rest of it is all plush. Wait, there's something inside here. I don't know if it's supposed to say anything. Maybe I can look at the instructions. Okay, it's a good thing you look at the instructions because his tail pulls out, and then it's a little like vibration thing. And then this one is a little past my time, but we have a toy from the Furby Boom line, which were updated Furbies in 2013. This toy returned to the hard plastic, but it still gives off the same vibes, kind of like the original. Well, y'all, this is just scratching the surface of 100 pounds of fast food toys. I really wanted to highlight some of the iconic, some of the weird, and all of the nostalgia. Be sure to be on the lookout for a lot more shorts coming, all on these toys. And I actually have a couple more long-form videos planned with these, but those will be member-exclusive videos. So if you're into nostalgia and obviously love fast food toys, definitely consider becoming a member. And remember, March 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern will be my first Whatnot live show, and I will be auctioning off a bunch of these, so check the link in the description so you don't miss it. And as always, thanks for watching. And I do have to point out that inside this packaging, it kind of looks like Poopa.